This goes out to all the women in the world, especially her. You know it don't even matter your age, don't even matter your color. Yo, fellas, I ain't forget about y'all. This is for everybody that like things. Just listen to what I'm saying and do it and take a chance. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. Just get on the floor like I said before. Y'all remember that down low? Just put a little dip with it. Now roll those hips with it. Pop it, push it, rock it, roll it. Can't control it, I come hold it. It's all in fun, so take a chance. Just get on the floor and do that dance, y'all. I know you like it, so don't try to fight it. Turn around, baby, let me see you from the back. Now roll those hips, drop down, double up on those dips. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do it right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. Back again with the second verse. It's all clean, so I'm not gonna curse. Drop a bass like a bad habit. Love all women, cause I gotta have it. Coming at y'all in stereo. I'm riding that thing like a rodeo. Hang on, baby, cause the ride is rough, and I got my girls in the front. Now and later, just bumping that rump. Raise it up, let me see that brown. Slap it, girl, make it jiggle around. Round and round that rump goes. Where it stop, yo, no one knows, yeah. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind.
Well, all right, y'all. If you ain't dipping, then you must be tripping. If you ain't doing it down low, gots to go. So the people that moving slow, just moving slow. Yo, DJ, pump it up some more.
It's off to the show in a limo. Before the show, I gotta get that dough. Pay them girls what they work. Slip that money under that skirt. Take it out, baby, let me see. You might get a little more lip G-string, having oh so much fun. Playing this side between them buns. Shawty got it going on like Marvin. Teasing me and she know I'm starving. Lick you up, then lick you down. I ain't finished, girl, turn around. Lick you up and down your back, cause I'm that freak, I'm freaky like that. Freak nasty, wanna see, can y'all do this right? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put yours, then I put mine. Then we can dip down low and roll and grind. I'm setting it off to another level. You digging freak nasty without a shovel? This is my world. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. So what's up, yo DJ? When the party's getting slow, join this jam and watch that flow get taken over like a 94. When I had the whole world getting down low. New Orleans born, ATL living. Freak nasty is what I'm giving. My juice is sweet like Georgia peaches. Women suck it up like leeches. It feels so good, you must admit you like this. Yeah, y'all know the song. So come on, won't you sing it? I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. You put your hand up on my hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. I put my hand up.
All right, Chad, how we doing? How's everybody doing tonight? Oh my gosh, it has never been more Jover. Good Lord. I gotta say, maybe it sounds stupid in hindsight, but didn't really see that coming. Oh, I know. He was a fucking joke and a shambling corpse of a man. And there's no reason he should be running for president or even continue to be president. But I figured they just... I mean, it's... What a mess. What a mess. You know, supposedly he endorsed Kamala. So I guess they're going to have Kamala take the L. I don't know, man. It's going to be an interesting fucking convention, I can tell you that much. Oh, this thing is running like shit. I really should stop using Streamlabs. I don't even use the meme scroll anymore. Should just use StreamYard like a fucking boomer. So it's got that going for it. We got a super chat earlier today. Somebody sent a super chat. I always say you can send a super chat when I'm not live. I'll see it when I am live. So let's go ahead and throw that up on the screen there. If it wants to go, I clicked it.
Have you heard of Jesus?
Oh, this is not running good. Can y'all even hear me? Good Lord. Vander donates $20. Thank you very much for that. I'm in the Army because I'm a poor fag, and the chapel on base is run by 3 chaplains. One of them moved, and his replacement is a female chaplain. I'm torn because I do like going to the church I'm at, but I'm not sure of staying because of the new chaplain. I don't know what to tell you, man. A lot of factors there. I mean, I guess it's on an Army base. You know, are there churches you can go to off base? I don't know where you're stationed. You know, if that's an option, how viable an option that is. I don't know, man. Like, is it otherwise a really good I don't know. I couldn't tell you, man. I could say a prayer for you, but I can't give you much advice on that. Let's see. Some chat says I'm in many left wing groups and people are talking about voting JFK or just writing in a protest vote. Oh yeah, this is a mess. You gotta have your head really far up your ass. I mean, imagine like you've spent like all this time up until now being like, no, actually he's fine. It was just a bad debate. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. And then he's like, yeah, I'm actually just not. I'm just gonna step down. On ice cream day, no less. I know, chat. Step down on ice cream day. Chat Wolfland says, all these streams lead me to think the box factory, or the factory that makes the opposite of boxes, isn't doing well. Well, I'm at the dildo factory now, and it is not great. I mean, this is just, it's just the weekend. I felt like streaming yesterday because I wanted to talk about the convention and shit like that, and all the fucking hypocritical bullshit I wanted to comment on. But today I just wanted, I mean, it's Jover, so we gotta talk about that. So that's why I'm streaming twice this weekend. I don't know, I might be doing a regular stream. I got approached today about maybe doing a regular comic stream with somebody, and I would like doing that. I like talking about comics. You know, I was planning. I had talked to Pastor Tom about maybe doing regular theology streams with him. Just riding sidekick with him, and he just, I know, you know, he has apparently, because he's a pastor of a church and a husband and a father. Tom doesn't apparently have energy to play on the internet. It's pretty lame if you ask me. But that's why that hasn't really gone anywhere. It might. I'm still open to the idea. You know, and if his schedule calms down a bit. But I might be doing a regular comic stream with somebody. Somebody approached me about that idea. And I wouldn't mind doing that. I do like comic books. And I like talking about comic books. So that could probably turn out well. I don't know if we do this on this channel or maybe set up a separate channel for it. You know, I don't know. I haven't worked out the details in it, but yeah, and maybe it'll go nowhere. I don't know. Dude's in fucking Australia, so you know, getting our times to sync up is a little wonky. He's not on Eastern Standard Time like I am. God's time. That's actually, I don't know if you do this, chat, but that's actually the time zone heaven is on. All right, that's God's time zone. The Eastern Standard Time is actually, it's true. We could get Pastor Tom in here. I'm sure he would back me up. Eastern Standard Time is actually God's time zone. I'm pretty sure. I think it says that in the Bible even. Like somewhere in the back or something. But this other guy, he's in like Australia, which is like, I don't know. I think it's near the edge of the flat earth. is where Australia is at. Some sort of weird prison colony that the British started. I don't know. They make blooming onions there. I'm not sure. Apparently, chat tells me Quintus Curtius wants the draft back. Of course he does. Of course he does. Of course he does. I love when that's a common conservative idea. Everybody should have to serve in the military right out of high school. And I'm like, cool. Slavery, that's fucking awesome. Indentured servitude for Big Brother. I fucking love it. You know, our founding fathers weren't even sure we should have a military. And I really do think they were right. Oh my gosh. This thing is just constant. It's a good thing I'm not playing a video or anything. This thing is constantly telling me we're dropping frames. Oh, man. I don't know, chat. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards maybe we shouldn't have had a military. Maybe we shouldn't have. Maybe not a standing army. I don't know. Maybe just reserves or something. I don't know. I think the temptation of going on all sorts of stupid adventures, having a standing army, has proven too much for us over our 250 years. Wolfland says, I want women to be in the draft, but mostly so they stop voting for endless war. When I was getting out of high school, they would withhold your high school diploma if you didn't sign up for the draft. Well, we didn't have a draft at the time. You just had to sign up for it in case we had it. They were always, no, we don't have a draft. We always have a draft. Well, then what am I signing up for? Well, that's so we have you on file if we have a draft. Oh, so we have the draft, you're just not using it right now. No, it's different. Selective service agreement. We'll never live to see the draft again. I don't think. Here's the deal. The draft doesn't work well for the model of endless wars. Okay? Like, Vietnam kind of taught the military-industrial complex that. The draft doesn't work well for endless wars because once you're making everybody participate, then people start to wonder, well, why are we fighting? What is the goal? What? People start to ask more questions a little bit more deeply when they have to go do it. That's why, I mean, remember W and all them neocon shitbags who were like, go to the mall. They were like, the army went to the war, America went to the mall kind of thing. They didn't want you. It was actually leftists who were anti-war and occasionally libertarians who were anti-war that were pushing for a draft. Because, the moment you yank the fat fucking kids off their Xbox, then suddenly they give a shit about things. So he says they're making it so you're automatically in the draft now. I wonder why they're doing it with such great numbers they're getting. Here's the thing. I understand their recruitment is desperate, and there are probably forces pushing for a draft right now. But those recruitment numbers will go right back up once Trump's in power. Okay? Oh, pardon me there. Knocking stuff around. It'll go right the fuck back up. The useful idiots, all the kids coming out of shitty-ass rural red state areas, they'll go right back to joining the army when they love the commander-in-chief. They will. All right, so I don't even think they should probably worry about that. Oh, we're all too fat to serve in the army. Run them through boot camp twice. I don't know what to tell you. All right, it'll be fine. This is just flee to Canada, go visit Leo. No, actually, look, I'm 41 and fat. They're not drafting me anytime soon. But if I was, let's say maybe during the Iraq War they would try to draft me, I wouldn't run. I would say no. It's just that simple. Was it Malcolm X sat in jail? I'll pull that shit. Yeah, I'm not. I'll be like, no, I'm not. I get the paper in the mail, get the fucking sheet, and I would just write in big lead letters over it, no, and just return to sender that shit. And then I go right back to work, and my boss would probably be like, well, didn't you get drafted? I'm like, I said no. Can you do that? I did. Are they going to come get you? Probably. What are you going to do? You going to put me in jail, I guess? Okay. Do it, faggot. Do it. That's how you stand up for your principles as a man. You just say no. Now, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? They're going to put you on a bus and send you to boot camp? Drop it, give me 20. No, I don't want to. You can't train the unwilling. I mean, how could you train the unwilling? If I'm a prisoner here, you can't really train me. I mean, what are you gonna teach me marksmanship? Give me a gun? Because I don't know, if I was holding somebody prisoner, I think the last thing I'd do is give them a gun. So he says, back during the Bush years, I was approached by the Army recruiters to join up with them during the time of the Iraq War, and I kindly told them to fuck off, but I still got my diploma. Well, no, if you didn't sign up for the selective services, at least when I was graduating in 02, they would withhold your diploma. Forney says, you can't go to Canada anymore. We have an agreement with them where they automatically arrest and deport draft dodgers. See, that's the thing. I legitimately think it's kind of pussy shit to quote-unquote dodge the draft, to try to run away, to try to weasel your way out of it. With, I enrolled in university or I went to camp. No. If you're against it, then you just say no. Like, I refuse. I am a conscientious objector, I guess. I'll sign that paperwork if you give it to me, but I'm not going. Suck my dick. What are you going to do about it? That's how a man stands up to his principles. I'm not going. You can suck my dick. Like, I guess I could throw you in jail. I guess. If you let him take you alive. I don't know. I'm not suggesting anything there, Chad. I'm just saying, But that's how a man stands up to his principles. Stands up for his principles, I should say. No, you don't run. Just go about your business. Like I said, go to work. What, are they going to come and get you? I don't know, probably. But want me to work in the meantime, boss? Looks like you're understaffed since they took most of the people. You just say no. Freedom starts with a no. At the end of the day, freedom always has and always will start with a no. You got to be the motherfucker that keeps standing where everybody else kneels. And yeah, you might die. They might throw you in jail. They might kill you. Oh well. I made my peace with God. Throw me in jail. Do it. So he said they offer you a harem of redheads if you do it. Well, that's just. I don't know, Chad. I might break that. I mean, I'm only just a man. I'm not made of stone. So he says, I never understood the military worship. I don't get it either. 100 Dom redheads if you sign the dotted line. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if the military recruiter is a hot redhead. But generally. So he says, ancient Romans dodged a draft by cutting off their thumbs so they couldn't hold a sword. They worked until the emperor decreed that anyone who dodged that draft that way would be redacted, killed, I guess. Well, I guess in the old days you could have just said you're gay. Like, if you want to get out of it, like back in Vietnam, you probably just could have been like, they drafted you, be like, I'm sorry, I can't go. I love the cock. Sorry. I mean, back then, I guess they'd have to let you out of it. Wouldn't they? Like back, they'd just be like, "No, man, I'm a big gay." What are you gonna do? They're gonna make you prove it? They're like, oh, I've seen you dating women. Yeah, I'm bi. I go both ways. That's still not allowed, so you can't take me. So he says, Muhammad Ali was the one I was thinking of that said no. Yeah, so Chad says, saying no to the draft, to getting drafted is risky, though, especially since in the same government that sentenced Muhammad Ali to prison for reason to be drafted. Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, yeah, Muhammad Ali during the Vietnam War said no, and they sent him to prison. But again, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's how a man stands up to his principles. If you think that such and such war is unjust, like if they want to draft you tomorrow to go fight for Zelensky or to go murder Palestinian babies for Israel or something, and you're like, no, I'm not doing that, that's fucked up, and you just say no. And yeah, they might come and throw you in fucking jail or something. Right? But so what? I mean, first of all, maybe you don't want them to take you alive. I don't know. You know, a lot of cops are nothing but, 250 pounds of donut batter slathered over a skeleton with a gun holster holding it in place. So, you want to roll the dice that way, go ahead. But no, that's how you, as a man, stand up. You don't run away. You just say, no, I'm not going to do it. You can't make me. Well, we'll throw you in jail. You could probably do that, but you still can't make me comply. That's how a man stands up for his fucking beliefs. Like, I respect... Muhammad Ali is the one... for some reason, I was thinking Malcolm X did that. Maybe he did, too. I don't fucking know. Well, yeah, Muhammad Ali was the one that just, well, we'll throw you in jail till you don't want to do it. All right, cool. You better brace yourself because we're gonna be here a while. There does have to be a point where you're willing to say, like, no, this far, no further. Like, I'm not doing that. Suck my dick. When people puss out like that, like, like, oh, the other guy from Tenacious D was like, oh, I wish they'd kill Trump, okay? And then like, he pushed out, like Jack Black threw him under the bus, and then he apologized and shit, and it's like, why don't you just like fucking stand by your shit like a man? I don't know. Like, you didn't really fucking stop and think, oh wait, I was wrong. No, you pushed out because people were yelling at you. And I really don't get that with somebody's celebrity because it's like, you have fuck you money. Like the guy that plays Hulk, Mark Ruffalo. It was like, I think sometime last year. It was sometime after the October 7th stuff broke out, I believe. He was talking about Israel and he was like, yeah, it's fucked up, killing Palestinian babies. Bunch of war criminals over there, a bunch of fucking shitheads. And he was right. But as you may or may not know, it isn't exactly the Palestinians that run fucking Hollywood. So he got in a lot of trouble for that shit. And then he bends the knee and he puts out some big apology for it. And I just remember thinking, like, why? Like, I don't know exactly, but I bet it was a lot of money. I bet it was a lot of money. I would be willing to bet you that Mark Ruffalo has a lot of money, chat. I bet he has more money than I do. And I bet he has more money than you do. In fact, I bet he has enough money that he never fucking needs any more money. So if I was in a position where I did not need any more money, let's say my house is paid off, car's paid off, I got a few million sitting in the system at, I don't know, 3 to 5% interest. Who the fuck knows? But I can pay my taxes for the rest of my days. I can fucking go to the comic book store every Wednesday. All that good shit. You know what I mean? Food, water. Like, I don't need money anymore. God, God, like every couple of seconds, this thing's giving me a frame drop thing. If I'm in that position, and somebody's like, you need to apologize for saying the Amish are garbage, for example, because they're garbage. I would be like, how about the Amish apologize for being garbage, and you suck my dick? Well, you're not going to work anymore. It's such and such. All right. I'll clean out my desk then. What do you want? Well, what is the point of having fuck you money if you don't say fuck you? And I get it, like, I don't know. Maybe he's got, they got pictures of him fisting a baby at Epstein's Island or something, and that's what they threw over his head. But just in general, I don't understand, like Jack Black. Oh, I better throw my lifelong friend under the bus because he said an obnoxious fucking comment that I probably agree with. But I want to keep getting my Kung Fu Panda and Super Mario Brothers money. Like, you have enough money. I don't know, chat. That's just me. That's just how I'd roll. Me personally, I wouldn't behave that way. If I had fuck you money, you would not be able to make me do much of anything. If I had 3 million, even with as worthless as the money is right now, 3 million sitting in the bank, house paid off, car paid off, nobody could make, like, God or the government are the only forces that I would answer to. Beyond that, anybody tells me something I don't like, fuck you. Like you go into work, the boss tells you, hey, you're 10 minutes late. Hey, you suck my dick. Won't be working on it. And that's if you even decide to work. And I'd probably work part-time, just get out of the house, have a little structure. But I'll never understand these people that have all this wealth. They don't need for nothing, and they still bend the knee. Like, I'm sure you, chat, put up with a lot of work, or a lot of shit in your day job. We all do. But, like, that's because you have to, You need to pay the bills. Man, this thing is having fits tonight. So I wonder if we're getting, they endorsed Kamala? Joe did. I say Joe Biden did, but does Joe Biden even know any of this that fucking happened? We've heard no actual statements from him. We saw something on they did it. Somebody says, just tune in what I missed. Oh, not much anything. Just rambled on for 30 minutes about stupid bullshit. Because that's what I do. I gotta do StreamYard after this. I can't. This thing does not. See, but then I don't get the super chats. The super chats are through Streamlabs. So does Kamala have enough pizza boxes to win? I don't know, man. There might not be enough pizza boxes. There might not be enough. This is rambling for 30 minutes is what we come for. I gotta get a co-host, though. It is hard to do this for, like, just on your own. Especially because I do no show prep. Because I'm lazy and retarded. Like, just none. Just no show prep. Fuck that. I'm not doing show prep. What do you think, this is a real show like it used to be? No. This is low effort dog shit, okay? It says, I'll tell you what does have enough 2025. God, the right's still on about that shit. Understand why they insist on like overemphasizing how look, pornography's not good for you. It's like a junk food. All right? Think of it as like a mental and spiritual junk food. It feels good, but it's kind of empty and it's not good for you, okay? But we don't ban junk food. There's much more of a public health justification for banning high fructose corn syrup than fucking porn. And I know there's all the Zoomers can't get laid because of porn. No, Zoomers can't get laid because probably more like that fucking anime is what's ruining them than the porn. But no, it's not that fucking bad for you, okay? Stop blaming pictures of titties on the internet for all your fucking problems. This is legalized prostitution. Well, you should. I mean, technically it is legal since porn is legal. This isn't absolutely... I cannot imagine how this loophole doesn't work legally. Okay, so I hire a hooker, right? Let's say I hire a hooker. Yeah. Like Boogie. I'm going to take all my super chat money. I'm going to hire a hooker, right? Been saving it up, chat. Not just any hooker. I'm going to get one of the high-class ones. You know, the girlfriend experience. And that's where after sex, I read comic books while she complains I don't take her anywhere. And we're going to do that. We're going to do the high-end shit. You know what I'm saying? We're talking at least 500. You know, you don't want to lowball something like this. And so I get a hooker, right? Now, that's illegal here in the state of Pennsylvania, but it is perfectly legal to film porn. So I just simply film it. And then it's now legal, right? Because she's not a hooker, she's an actress. And we filmed a scene, right? I don't understand. Because you don't even have to, like, put it out there. Maybe I could be like, yeah, we filmed a scene, but, you know, I was going over and editing it. It just didn't turn out right. The lighting was all off, so we didn't publish it. Like, or it was for my personal collection. To me, that's like a complete work around any prostitution laws, as far as I know. So it says, trads pass brain scans around to say porn is bad. The brain scan trads pass around has a third scan they don't show, and it is the brain on sugar. The scan just shows the brain having on. Like, yeah, look, porn's not good for you, per se, but it's not like, oh, it kills you. Fuck you. Maybe you Zoomers just need to nut up, all right? Like, I saw porn when I was a teenager, too, and I was like, oh, that looks cool. I'm going to go find a girl and do that. And eventually I did. About 17, I finally like, all right. We were doing all sorts of stuff. So he says 17 watching, only 9 likes. Hit that thumbs you want. Well, what you should really be hitting is that super chat button. You see that super chat button? Streamlabs.com. Well, no, you don't, because YouTube didn't monetize me. Aaron, why can't I super chat? And it's like, I don't know, Aaron. Why can people still do it to you? At this point, you look like a pussy being monetized on YouTube. Don't you say anything controversial anymore? But what you should be hitting, chat, is streamlabs.com/thebechtloff. Send a super chat. Okay? We need super chats. We need super berries. All right? Maybe if you send enough, this laptop will stop melting. So it says, hey, if Mark Ruffalo got shit canned from Hollywood, he could sell off one of his many mansions and condos, as well as go to conventions signing autographs for $50 a month. That's what I, Mark Ruffalo, who can threaten you with, oh, you're not going to work again? It's like, okay, well, first of all, the MCU's buried its dick in the dirt anyway, so who cares about that? But also, like, who gives a shit? If you're really pressed for money, maybe you could go. I was going to say work for the Daily Wire, but not if you're criticizing Israel. You'd be a lefty and work for Daily Wire for their shitty little cartoons and movies, but you can't criticize Israel. But you can go to Comic Cons. I bet Mark Ruffalo could set up, and he'd be like, okay, well, let's say San Diego Comic Con, because it's so Hollywood doesn't want him. All right, we'll be jack shit. Just go to regular cons, man. Any decent-sized con, first of all, they'll pay for your travel and your hotel. Guarantee you. If you're Mark fucking Ruffalo, if you're the fucking Hulk. And then, yeah, you sit there and you sign fucking Hulk comic books for $50 a pop. You could even lowball it, 20. Yeah. But whatever you pay. Boom, there you go. You sit there and you shake hands with goofy nerds, you know, and boom, there you go. A lot worse ways to make a living. So it says the Enya stimulus itself is bad, not the source. If you think things are degen now, look up how medieval people behaved. Oh yeah, social media is probably, especially for young developing minds, probably way worse than even porn. So it said Mark Ruffalo can do those direct-to-video geezer action flicks that Bruce Willis did before he had to retire. No shit, man. And again, that's assuming Mark Ruffalo needs any more money coming in. Like, I feel like you could just get yourself a nice house in Florida, you know, a McMansion even, pay off your house, pay off your car, use the rest for taxes the rest of your days, and you're fine. You just coast. How can anybody threaten you with anything? How can anybody get you to say that murdering babies is fine because Israel's doing it when you have that much money? Well, how much of a coward are you, Mark? How much of an absolute fucking coward are you? You spent all that time playing a superhero. You didn't learn anything about bravery, you fucking pussy. Captain America and the Hulk would be ashamed of you. Bruce Banner knew all about cutting his losses and fucking off. But I don't know. Like I said, maybe they got a video of him at Epstein's Island fisting a fucking 8-year-old. I don't know. I love this comment. The Daily Wire makes cartoons for disgruntled boomer dads who imagined what they should have said to their woke kids days later in the shower. They know their audience. Oh, man. I haven't watched it, but like I've seen a bunch of clips of that fucking Adam Carolla cartoon Bertram. God, that looks like shit. Adam Carolla isn't funny anymore. Full stop. And look, even like maybe a year ago, I kept saying like, oh, when Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla broke up, Adam Carolla took all 4 of the balls. Because Lord knows Jimmy Kimmel ain't been funny since The Man Show. But Adam Carolla's just not fucking funny anymore. He's just bitter, and he just is Bertram at this point. But, you know, that's part of the problem. You know, I don't know, maybe make, like, art and not propaganda. You know what was a conservative cartoon that was beloved? Is fucking King of the Hill. Because guess what? King of the Hill was an old-fashioned conservative. And you know what? He was right most of the time in that cartoon. Not always. Because, no, you don't want to be that fucking transparently one-sided. But most of the time, Hank was fucking right about shit. And yeah, he learned to love his goofy, fat, fucking dorky son. But he also made sure that he manned up at least enough. Who said he was funny on Love Line? Oh, Adam Carolla used to be funny. So did Jimmy Kimmel, for that matter. Go back and watch The Man Show. The Man Show's fucking hilarious. Like, The Man Show fucking ruled. I don't know, chat. We're not getting any more super chats. I'm very disturbed by the lack of super chats. You know, there's 17 people here. Like, if all of you, 17 viewers, and I know that ain't much, but if all of you sent me $5, that's all I'm saying. You can't send me $5? My God, you cheap bastards. You should be ashamed of yourself. I can't even do that shit with a straight face. I can't even pull that kind of just absolutely shitty stuff. Chat says, the Man Show is a distant memory and it makes me kind of sad. What's weirder is the replacements. Joe Rogan and Doug Stanhope are way bigger than both the original hosts ever were. You know, that's true. And I always thought Doug Stanhope was funny as shit. Like, I was kind of sad when Jimmy and Adam got replaced, and I was never a big Joe Rogan fan. Especially back then, he was just the guy from News Radio and Fear Factor. But Doug Stanhope was fucking hilarious. Still is. Like, Doug Stanhope's a fucking genius. Doug Stanhope is the genius level kind of guy that boomers thought George Carlin was. Doug Stanhope basically is the kind of guy George Carlin pretended to be. A genuinely fucking genius level misanthrope. Somebody says, at a Flavor Flav roast, Cat Williams introduced Kimmel with every lame white insult under the sun. And then Jimmy said, thank you, tiny black person I've never heard of. God, those roasts were so good. Flavor Flav roast was great. Funny story. Cat Williams got super fucking mad. And here's the thing. Cat Williams had every fucking insult towards white people there. And that's fine, because it's a roast. I ain't mad about that. But Cat Williams was getting super mad about all the racist jokes towards Flavor Flav. And look, they were going hard on him. But Flavor Flav thought it was hilarious. So, Cat Williams actually, like, confronted Flavor Flav backstage. He tells this story himself, too, by the way. Cat Williams tells this story himself. And they're like, how could you sit there with all them, while they're calling you a crispy, crackly coon all night? And Flavor Flav's like, motherfucker, I got paid! Like, because Flavor Flav doesn't take himself seriously, because why would he? Well, yeah, Cat Williams did not take that well. And fuck him for it. It's a roast. It's a fucking roast. It's supposed to be brutal. That's what made those things so funny. So he says, conservative content should not be hard to create. Places like the Daily Wire try too hard. Well, again, here's, at the end of the day, look, regardless of what kind of place you're coming from as a creator, conservative, liberal, Christian, fucking Wiccan, whatever the fuck your outlook is. But at the end of the day, if you're writing a story, if you're trying to be funny, you need to be creating art, not fucking propaganda. You know, make a character, know what the fuck they're about, and then the character will know what to say almost. But you got to be organic about it. You got to be honest about it. That's the difference between art and propaganda. So the Bechtloff, remember actors like Mark Ruffalo and Chris Evans are not the virtuous heroes they played on film. I got to have that talk with my dad all the time. My dad will, like, get sour on some actor and then, like, refuses to watch him. And I'm like, okay, but, like, they're all like that. You know? Like, the other day I'd mentioned, like, oh, man, you know, we were talking about, like, Patrick Swayze films. I'm like, yeah, Roadhouse is pretty good. It's not bad. I don't like Dirty Dancing at all. But I was like, Ghost is a pretty damn good movie. Ghost doesn't get enough credit. I think it's better than Roadhouse. And he was like, yeah, but I don't know, Whoopi Goldberg's in there, and she says stuff on The View I don't like. And I'm like, well, first of all, she was in that like 40 fucking years before she said these things on The View. Or before 30 years before The View fucking existed. But also, like, who gives a shit? Like, they're actors. Who fucking cares? Back when it was on, I had an Arrow boner from Here to Alpha Centauri. I love that show. Yeah, it buried itself in the dirt like the other CW shows did. But I love the first two seasons of Arrow. Hell, I even love Stephen Amell in the fucking Michael Bay Ninja Turtle movies, Casey Jones. I love Stephen Amell. I would watch shitty things with Stephen Amell in it because he was just cool. If I ever saw Stephen Amell, like if I ran into him on the street or something, I would scream, "Oh my God, it's Oliver Queen," like an 8-year-old girl. Like, no fucking lie. I never followed Stephen Amell on Twitter. No, because I don't give a shit what he has to say. Because, well, I will forever see him as Oliver Queen. And to a lesser extent, Casey Jones. Again, especially that second Michael Bay Turtles movie, not nearly as bad as everyone says. A lot of actually genuinely good things in it. He is neither of those things. He is Stephen Amell. And Stephen Amell, maybe he's a great fucking guy. I don't know. I don't fucking care. But what he probably is some empty-headed pretty boy that had to let a Jew fuck him in the ass to get his job. That's probably what he is, okay? So I don't give a shit if Stephen Amell doesn't agree with me on politics or religion. Who fucking cares? And you gotta be like that. Eldridge fan says Protestants don't get art, at least not the way Catholics and Mormons do. Oh, God, I really hate to semi-fucking agree with you, but I will tell you that conservative Protestants are fucking Philistines. There is no two ways around that. Now, I don't count myself... I'm maybe a Protestant, but I don't count myself as conservative. And you know what? In all fairness, conservatives in general usually don't get art. Conservatives in general are fucking Philistines, usually. They absolutely fucking are. So he says, if you thought Mr. Burcham was cringe, wait till you see the Twitter exclusive show called The New Norm. This is new levels of bad due to most of the dialogue being full of internet name. New Norm legitimately looks like it was made by an AI. Like, maybe it was polished a bit by an actual human being, but only a bit. Like, they were just like, that's good enough. Farted out, who cares? So he says Flava Flav also knows he's not perfect. He's had some great down-to-earth moments in interviews, makes him more likable. Yeah, Flava Flav knows that he's fucking Flava Flav for all the good and bad that entails, and he's well aware of that. So he says all you have to do is not shoehorn dumb political takes and DEI caricatures in there. Boom, conservative art. Yeah, I guess you could just have, normal art from 20 years ago. That's conservative art. So he said Drew Carey's roast was an all-timer. I think the Drew Carey roast was the one that aired on Comedy Central. I think that was still a Friars Club roast. Because I know when Comedy Central first got the rights to Friars Club roasts, and I mean, this is late. I want to say it was 98 or 99 because it was shortly after I moved up to PA as a teenager. Because that was when I first got Comedy Central. I actually didn't have it in Maryland. South Park was like a year old before I'd even managed to catch it. And it was the Friars Club roast at first. I want to say the first one, maybe two of them. And then I guess they lost the rights, but they keep wanting to do the roast. And it would be the just Comedy Central roast. And those were fucking amazing. They were even better than the Friars Club roast because it was even more gloves off. People talk about Flava Flav was always comic relief man for Chuck D. He actually had good songs on his own too. Yeah, he wasn't bad. Flava Flav really was probably just more famous in like the late 90s and the 2000s just for being just a goofball. It would be on like VH1 shows and shit. I almost forget sometimes he even was a rapper back in the day. He's just sort of known as for being a fucking goofy ass dude with a fucking clock and a Viking helmet. That joke in the roast where, like, when Flava Flav jumped into Bridget Nielsen's arms, I thought that it was Jane Goodall with the apes. Or when that guy said, like, Bridget Nielsen looks so haggard, I'd rather fuck Leslie Nielsen. Oh, man. Well, shit, guys, I ain't getting no super chats, and I am a whore, so I might be wrapping this up here soon. Somebody says, I think Drew Carey's roast was one of the first ones in Comedy Central. Lots of, I'm pretty sure that one was still a Friars Club roast. Then I think maybe it was like when Chevy Chase might have been the first Comedy Central roast. They are funny, though. God, they were funny. I don't even know if they're still doing them. Comedy Central doesn't have any comedy anymore, does it? Oh, somebody says, thanks for the answer. I'll probably wait it out. If it gets bad at the chapel, I guess I'll find a new church. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. I would just, don't make any kind of harsh decisions. He's talking about the super chat from earlier. Yeah, don't make any harsh decisions, and just pray about it, man. Again, it depends on how good the other factors are. I don't know what to tell you. I understand, a female pastor isn't exactly something that, actual biblical Christianity smiles upon. But yeah, what are the other factors in that? Because, what can you do, man? I mean, it's a fucking fallen world, man. Sometimes you just gotta take the good instead of looking for the perfect. But I don't know. Maybe it's not good. Maybe all the other factors are shit too. Or maybe it's such a ruining factor. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. Pray about it and don't make any rash decisions. Well, I think I'm going to wrap this up because I ain't getting no super chats and I am a whore. Plus, I do have some other shit I got to do tonight. All right, chat.